Hi there, this is Kingsley. So this right here is the Redmi Note 11. The Redmi Note 11 is amongst the many devices that were released in the Redmi Note 11 series lineup of phones. This one is the base model. When this phone was announced and once I was able to hold it in person, my reactions are mixed, and that is for a particular reason. You see, the Xiaomi brand was built on this idea that we can offer you more for less. So if companies like Samsung and Apple are offering you phones for a particular amount, we can offer you even more than that for a cheaper amount. Kind of like what OnePlus did with the OnePlus brand when it was launched. They launched with these phones that were high specs, like the specs were just too crazy for the amount that the phones were selling. So everybody automatically dubbed the phones the flagship killers. But you see, times have changed in the last 2 to 3 years. We've gone through the pandemic, and the pandemic has reshaped the world. And so we are suffering things like chip shortages all over the world. Some companies cannot even keep up with production. And this has kind of hindered that idea that OnePlus and Xiaomi came into the market with, which is offering you more for less. And so right now we are seeing OnePlus phones priced at exactly the same amount as Samsung phones and Apple phones, which is against the very ideas that they entered the market with. And with the Redmi Note 11, same thing has happened here. The offering more for less here is not really there anymore. So it's kind of like they're now offering less for more, or they're offering you exactly what you are paying for. The first part of this device that reflects on is in the build quality. The Redmi Note 8, the Redmi Note 9 and the Redmi Note 10, even the base models were all built in glass. The body was glass, though the frame was plastic, but the back was glass and the front was glass equally, which of course it has to be glass. But with the Redmi Note 11, this is not glass, this is plastic now. And so this one actually makes the Redmi Note 10 look like a better deal than this. But we're going to go through the entire device and find out if you should actually get it, or if you should get the Redmi Note 10, or if you should maintain the Redmi Note 10 if you already have it. Maybe there might be no need to upgrade after all. Starting out there with opening the box, it comes in this regular white box. Inside there, you're going to find this little box, or little sub box if you may, that contains manuals, which I don't know if anybody still reads. And then it has a clear TPU case. You have a SIM ejector tool there. Going further, you're going to find a 33 watts fast charging brick in the box, which I'm very happy they included that. And Xiaomi says that this is going to be able to charge the phone from 0 to 100 in 60 minutes. And then you will also find a USB Type-C cable, and that's just about it. You don't get headphones in the box, which is a classic Xiaomi style. One thing I love about this phone is the design. The design is not really different from last year's own very much, just a slight change. But that change actually matters a lot. On this phone, you are going to get a phone that has a boxy shaped design, like kind of like the iPhone 12 or the iPhone 13 Pro and all that. But what I love about this one is how comfortable this device is to hold. One-handed operation on this device shouldn't be a problem for you, no matter how small your palms are. On the right side of the device, you're going to get a side-mounted fingerprint reader, no in-display fingerprint reader this year equally. And this fingerprint reader is very, very fast. It unlocks the phone very, very fast, and I kind of like that. And at the top of the fingerprint reader, you're going to find the volume up and down keys. On the right side of the device, you have the SIM tray, which carries 2 SIM cards and an SD card. At the top of the device, you're going to find an IR blaster, a microphone outlet. The headphone jack has been moved to the top, and then you're going to find one of the stereo speakers up there, and you'll find one down here. And also at the bottom, you have a USB Type-C port, which is very good to see. Most devices, at least in my country where I reside, with this kind of price, usually come with a micro USB, and it's good to see Xiaomi still maintaining a USB-C on these devices. And then you get another microphone outlet there. The back of the device is just plain bare. There's nothing much that you find there. The camera bump on here looks very, very much like last year's model, and we're going to test out those cameras shortly and see how the cameras are. But the camera bump is protruding out of the frame of the device a little bit, which I don't think that should be a problem, because at the end of the day, you are still going to wear this device on a case. So I haven't really noticed any significant improvement in terms of performance. But again, what I have noticed here is just that the display is a little bit brighter, which we are going to come back to in a moment. When it comes to playing high graphic intensive games on this phone, You will be able to play games, but most of the games will play on low or medium graphics settings. You might not be able to play games here on high graphics settings. And also, I don't know if this device will be able to handle games like Genshin Impact that requires so much from the GPU or the CPU of a device. But I'm kind of skeptical of trying it here. But for the sake of science, I will install Genshin Impact here and play it and let you guys know how the thing goes. From the box, the Redmi Note 11 comes with Android 11 and with Android 11, Redmi Note 11. That kind of makes sense. The Redmi Note 11 comes with Android 11 and you get MIUI 13. And so you'll be able to update this phone to Android 12 once the update is available for you and in your region. Then for the memory options, in terms of the internal storage, you'll get a model that has either 64GB internal storage or 128GB internal storage. And then for the RAM, you will get a version that has either 4GB of RAM or 6GB of RAM. And also this device is 4G enabled. For those of you who live in Nigeria who might be asking if this device supports Glo 4G Band 28, yes it does. That's my Glo 4G SIM in there, and it's actually working well. I've been using it with the Glo 4G SIM for a long time now because Glo is the primary network I use for data. As for the display of the Redmi Note 11, it is a Super AMOLED display. It has a 90Hz refresh rate, 700 nits of brightness, and the brightness is going to peak at 1000 nits. Last year's Redmi Note 10 actually peaked at 1100 nits of brightness, but this one peaks at 1000 nits. But you know the thing I discovered here is that even though this one peaks at 1000 nits, this display is a bit brighter and a bit sharper than that on the Redmi Note 10, which I don't know how they did it, but I guess it's the software of the phone that is doing the magic. The display is 6.4 inches in size, it's a 1080p display, and it has a Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Using this device so far, I haven't really noticed that much of a difference. Like the difference is there, but it's not mind-blowing. It's just a very tiny difference between the 60Hz and the 90Hz refresh rate on this device. But the point is that you have a 90Hz refresh rate. Mine wasn't enabled from the box, so I had to go to display. Under display, I went to refresh rate and I enabled the 90Hz refresh rate, which gives smoother and better animation that I am yet to really experience the way it has been advertised. But overall, there is significant improvement in this display. The display is more saturated, the colors look more vibrant than last year's model, and it looks a bit sharper than last year's model. When watching videos, you're going to get very vibrant and vivid colors because, of course, this is an AMOLED panel made by Samsung, so you should expect the best out of it. But I gotta warn you, if you get this device, you have to be careful. This is a very expensive display. Of course, it's an AMOLED display, so if you break it, if you're in Nigeria, you're going to be spending nothing less than 45,000 naira to get this fixed. So you have to be careful when you buy this phone, all right? As for the battery, the Redmi Note 11 comes with a 5000 milliamps battery. It supports 33 watts fast charging, as I mentioned earlier. And according to Xiaomi, this device should be able to charge from 0 to 100 in 60 minutes. And I have not tried that, so I'm going to take my time and actually set a timer and try to see if those figures are correct. But it does charge really fast. The question is, can this battery take you all day? That answer is not really straight. The answer will depend on who you are and how you use your device. For me personally, this device has been able to take me half of the day, maybe around 2-3 p.m. I opt for a charger to charge it because I'm a heavy user and I use it with the 90Hz refresh rate always turned on. You know, I can't have a 90Hz refresh rate on the phone and I'm using it on 60. So I use it on 90Hz and I'm able to get between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. during the day. Most times the battery drops to almost zero, so I'm forced to plug it to charge. For an average user, this battery should be able to take you out and bring you home again before you charge it. As for the cameras, the Redmi Note 11 comes with a 50 megapixel main lens against the 48 megapixel main lens that came on the Redmi Note 10 last year. And then you have an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, you have a 2 megapixel macro lens, and then you also have a 2 megapixel depth sensor, which means the Redmi Note 11 has a quad camera setup. Then in front of the Redmi Note 11, you are going to find a 30 megapixel f2.4 wide angle lens. The Redmi Note 11 does not shoot 4K videos, it only shoots 1080p videos at 30 frames per second. Now, one thing I have to tell you about taking pictures with these cameras is that, first of all, pictures are subjective. Some of you might like the kind of pictures that Xiaomi phones give, Samsung phones give, or iPhones give. So the reason I don't like telling people that the pictures are good enough, they are not good enough, is because I would like you guys to look at these pictures with an open mind and just be sincere to yourself and tell yourself if the pictures you are seeing, you like them or not. But personally, one thing I have noticed here is that the selfie images are usually too soft. There's a lot of smoothing going on. Even when I turn off beauty mode on this device, I still get my face smoothed out when I take pictures. And it's something I don't really appreciate, but you have to understand that the lenses on this phone, they are not really that capable. So 50% of the work is done by the software of the device. So, and when is the device of the software that does all of this, you're going to expect a lot of smoothing and unnecessary sharpening when it comes to images. And even when HDR is turned on, these things still happen. So that's what you get when you get a device of this category.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't have to plan it, I can go change my fate. You won't understand it, all alone, that's okay. People, I can't stand them, they don't want me to change. Keep me where I'm standing, and I don't wanna be where I am. And I want something more, take a chance. It could be possibly my last